Hello and welcome back to beautiful Wolfville, Nova Scotia here on the campus of Acadia University. Got about 2 minutes left to kick off here for our game between the Alberta Wolfpack and the Ontario Blues. Both teams so far undefeated at 2-0 in the CRC, so we're excited for hopefully a big game here between these two sides. Alberta again wearing their white and black with the pink shorts and pink trim. Ontario in their familiar blue with the baby blue numbering. Emma Gallagher, the referee in the middle today from Ontario. Annie Kennedy and Andy Sanford from New Brunswick as the assistant referees. Ontario with one big team cheer with everybody. Alberta just the starters out ready. A few final adjustments to the referees, their microphones and hair. -15-minute quarters we're playing here, essentially, with the water breaks, but 2 30-minute halves. Longer halftime, shorter water breaks. Both teams ready, just waiting on the officials now. Andy making his way to the far touchline. Annie Kennedy, Acadia legend Annie Kennedy, we should say. An all-star rugby player here in her time in Wolfville, and now she's stayed in Nova Scotia. Cards have found their home. The red and yellow cards found their home in the referee's pocket as we come out to the middle. A professional outfit by the referees. I say that genuinely. They're not going to start a minute early. Just making sure they've got a game ball. Nice new Gilbert game ball coming in for the tournament. Alberta set to kick off here. Whistle signifies a start. Let's see how the opening kickoff looks. Nice well-struck ball. Charged and taken well by Ontario. And into contact. Won the ruck. They look to attack to their right. A messy ball backwards and recovered by Ontario. See as they settle in here. Well defended here by Alberta. The spread wide. They're making their tackles individually. Ontario haven't made any ground to speak of yet. Look for an offload, but they're met at the touchline. Flag staying down over there, so clearly not driven into touch. And they come back to the wide part of the field. Several phases here, 6, 7 phases. Bryn Jenkins with a strong carry there. Alberta will be happy with this defense. They've got to feel like the kick's coming soon. There it is. The winger was up on that far side, leaving a lot of space for the fullback to cover by themselves, but it is collected by Alberta. Moving backwards here for now. The fullback, Ume Zina, gathered. Now Alberta set for their first set of attacking play of the game. Good show and go there from the number 7. Down the short side here, Jenkins makes a tackle. Looked like we had a turnover, but the ruck was just in time. Against the number 1, Sarah Adams. Coming back to the penalty there. Referee not happy with the tackle height there. And we'll see, this sideline's been trouble for some teams so far when the wind comes across the field like this. And then, well, the ball was close to staying in, but was always going out. Last touch there by So Lee Jung from Ontario, but I think was always going to go out. First line out of the game here. Let's see what Alberta's got in terms of an attacking platform. 5-person line out, preferred by most teams. As they run to the front, they've gotten ahead of Ontario. Well read. As they try to run out the back. But that's lost forward and into the hands of Ontario, as we'll play a bit of advantage here. Oh, you have to think that was just on the edge of advantage being over, but only a second or two and a little bit of a half break, but the offload goes right back to Alberta, so we'll play the original knock-on forward pass from Alberta and an Ontario scrum. See as the teams get a measure of each other here. Scrum halves not engaging in nearly the antics that we'd seen in the men's game so far, giving each other some space. Drew Bell from Ontario matching up against Flores Maria. Maybe Maria Flores. Yes, I think judging by all the names on this team sheet, they've got their first and last names backwards. So I'm going to go on a limb and say that's Maria Flores at scrum half for Alberta. Penalty, we're not happy with the binding. Alberta's coach asking for them to find touch. Saved in, but knocked on in doing so by Ontario. So, no success on the kick for touch, but the result will be the same. A set piece. Scrum here to Alberta. Just outside the 22. Well, 5 minutes gone on my unofficial time here. Still no score. First scrum looks solid. Alberta looks to be happy to play off that. The wind is picking up now. You're probably getting some of that on our microphones. It's a good leg drive here. Good leg drive from the center. Scrum half a little slow to get there, but the ball recycled out to the width here. The ball knocked on, but Ontario ended up with it. Ontario, some continuity there, an offload. Nicely done. A good win of that ruck as they look to play down their right-hand side. A box kick. The wind is helping maybe a little bit more than people think. Zena, the fullback, gives a little kick back, chases herself. Kept them trapped on the sideline there. And hangs on to help make the tackle. It's a nice tackle, met right at the gain line. So Ontario look to recycle here. The wind putting some havoc on these passes. If it gets windy enough here, it's almost plays like a rainy day. To have an Alberta player on their feet, but they've been rucked off at the last second. Jenkins here with a carry, taken down by a few Alberta players. Ontario looking to get through a bit of width there. Look to be Meg Varden out on the far sideline. Alberta found their chance to counter ruck and come away with it. Oh, they've given away a penalty, though. Alberta player down, taking a second to collect her thoughts. Player's fine, just taking a second to themselves, but they're back up and staying in the game. Good to see. Oh, but at the same time, there is an Ontario player getting checked out who is coming off. Number 16 for Ontario, Sarah Fielding's coming on. As we look to rejoin play here with this kick for touch off the penalty. So that was the hooker Zoe Patton coming off the field. Kick for touch does look like it'll get enough. Over into a bit of this tall grass there. Ball team gets the ball back in, and then off into the wilderness to try to find that one. See how Ontario looks at this line out. And a big step in, but then a pause up in the middle. Not happy with the straightness of that lineup as it went to the Ontario player's outside hand. Alberta will elect to take the scrum here. Good battle so far in the scrum. Neither team necessarily with a dominant scrum. Looked to be the advantage with the team getting the put in. Ontario with a little better shove there, but not actually moving forward very much. It's a nice tackle by the Ontario number 7, Delone Bushaman. Through the hands here for Alberta, out to some width. Got some numbers. That was a powerful run. So number 13 for Alberta. Swatted down by Ontario, but always backwards. That Alberta number 13 was Evie Potker. Hard fought ruck, won there by Alberta as they keep going through the hands. Through their 10, the forwards playing now to a bit of width. Second row is connecting. A very nice offload, but it just doesn't go to hand. Knocked on, will have Ontario put into that scrum. Ontario was getting a little bit of shove there against the head on the last scrum. See if they've worked some things out. Maybe unlocked a bit of dominance at this scrum. See the ball come in there. Now a big drive from Alberta. Big drive from Alberta. The ball comes out on Ontario's side, and they manage to maintain possession. But scrum's very back and forth so far this game. One lone Alberta defender trying to skate against a few. A little bit too much of an overcommitment there by number 11, Kylie Adamkowski, but it did very well to turn around and make that tackle. Probably only had one chance to make it, and she did. Ontario going through the phases here. Got Alberta not rolling away at that breakdown, and then maybe would have been okay, except an Alberta player then stepped in to play the ball. Bryn Jenkins, the recipient of a quick tap and pass, and Ontario back into the phases here. Looks like they lost the ball though. Will knock on advantage, but Alberta's got the ball. Oh, but Ontario's got it back. I must have missed that advantage signal, misinterpreted. Yeah. That's a powerful counter ruck there though. Ontario comes away with it after a bit of a scramble. Number 19, Tess Kristoff, looked like that was. Through the hands here. Good work by Ivy, the 13, to make a tackle there. And the Alberta defense stands strong on the goal line. Drives Ontario into touch. Having missed a few moments of time off, I think we're probably around 12 to 13 minutes gone in this first half. Oh, the referees got together and decided that was brought in and held up, not driven into touch. We've got a goal line dropout. Bit of a mishit kick. It's just sat up on the 22 for the number 7 to take. Powerful run, bounced off a few tacklers. Delone Beauchemin, sorry. But Alberta's come away with it. And now we've got a whistle for a few Ontario players look to be down. We'll have that be our official water break while we're getting these players their attention. Still no score, some fantastic defense. Maybe the first 15-minute period I've commentated on so far with no points scored. Bit of coaching, bit of hydration going on in this break. Coaches look to be working with an Ontario forward on some scrummaging technique. Some Ontario players with pennies warming up, looking like they may be getting ready to go in shortly, if not right now. All the players look to be up and reasonably healthy, so just have the balance of the water break and then back in. Referees coming back to their positions. We'll have a whistle to signify the end of the water break as the teams come back together. We'll see now if that was just a whistle to deal with those injured players. We may restart with a scrum to Alberta. They appeared to have the ball. Do look, they're shaping up for a scrum here. So referee explaining how we'll restart play to the captains there. It looked to be Alberta in possession when the whistle had to be blown for the injured player, so we'll restart with a scrum. Some shoes get tied. We'll see the teams come together here. No, we won't. A reset, says Emma Gallagher. Not happy with how that was looking pre-engagement. So we'll have another cadence here. Come together on set. Both teams looking strong. Ontario giving a bit of a shove, but Alberta's withstanding it. Alberta, number 8, goes for a big run down the short side. Charlie Helland. Back to the middle of the field here. Looks to be the Alberta tight head. Gibbon, perhaps a relation to our player of the game from the last game, Soren Gibbon. All the way to the other sideline, and we're over the 22. So Alberta doing some good work with their possession. The tip pass sniffed out there and hit well behind the line. Let's see what they can do with this next one. Ontario, lots of forwards out here on the width. If Alberta can get it out, they may be able to exploit some speed. Ontario, number 10, comes away with a turnover there. Alberta coaches were really asking their team to ruck her away, and they weren't able to. Bobbled, but maintained possession for Ontario there as they go down the right side. Ball goes out the back. Bit of soccer skill to maintain possession there, but she is isolated. That turnover's been won cleanly by Alberta. Let's see what they do with this possession. Nobody's home, but looks like they're not in a position to kick right away. Let's see, now they've given away a turnover to the Ontario number 8, Olivia Debuya. Apologies for the pronunciation. First time seeing a lot of these names. Quick tap and go, and there's Olivia again. Going for a run, but gets the offload away. Ontario working through the hands. Good fight and leg drive. Defense from both teams has been fantastic so far. Bryn Jenkins, powerful runner, getting a bit of leg drive going there to get Ontario on the front foot. Possession maintained. I believe that was number 12, was looking for a half gap and couldn't find it. The winger switches back in. So Lee Jung stepping in off her wing a few times there to make the meters. Bryn Jenkins goes for another carry. Very high work rate in the carries for Bryn. Looked to be knocked on. Emma Gallagher agrees. We'll come back and play off another scrum. We've got a substitution to be made here. I believe that's 17 for 1. Brooke Gallagher coming in. Sarah Adams coming off. Cameron Wood and Guinevere O'Hara, the 10 and 12 for Ontario, looking to come forward and put some pressure on. 12 on 12, making the tackle. Is that our big running 13, Ivy Poker from Alberta, gets us all kinds of gain line. The Alberta sideline not happy with how long it took for that whistle to come, but it did come. Let's see here. Eyeing up a kick to this sideline, but pretty far to the middle of the field. Perhaps just a tap and play the ball into the middle of the field. Make sure we've got a ruck there, and we do. Some forwards coming in to join and help recycle possession there, get their scrum half back on her feet. Not much territory being made here, but just possession recycled, letting the scrum half get back to the pile. And ball's out to the 10 now. Riley Reed, the 10. And the penalty for going off their feet. Some indiscipline from Ontario in this end has really been the only thing getting Alberta moving forward. Now over to the more favorable sideline. Looks like we will see a kick for touch here. Not a fantastic amount of distance, bringing us up closer to the halfway mark there. So an Alberta line out. Looks like here. Ontario sorting out their defense. They're messy at the front or a short ball. It's hard to see from this angle, but in any event, Alberta bench unhappy with that ruck. Felt like that ruck was in from the side, but play on, says the referee. A little step back infield. Gonna be hard to remove Bryn Jenkins from that ball, but they do so. And now got some big numbers out to this side. Quick transfer, but we'll come back and play advantage. Offside is the call. Andy Kennedy, the assistant referee, telling Ontario to back up and give the full required 10 meters. We'll see from just around this spot. On the last penalty, Alberta just looked to tap and start playing, and they do the same here. Sort of mishandling that first pass, and maybe would have been better served to just try to hang on to it, but the Alberta player tried to dig it out of their pocket and get a quick pass off, and the result of that is a knock-on of a scrum with Ontario put in. Scrum comes together, it's solid, but Alberta with a good drive on. Olivia able to get to that ball at the end of the scrum and pop it out. So Lee Jung with a nice step inside and makes a big run out of that sort of messy ball at the back of a scrum. Big offload. Skillful offload, tackled into touch, but the referee unhappy with the tackle height. Now it looks to be the 13, Mackenzie White, perhaps. And we've got a try scored. Looks to be Bryn Jenkins getting up from the bottom of that pile. Getting some hugs from her teammates. So. Less than 10 minutes to go to halftime, and it's our first try of the game. Got the conversion to come. The wind would be mostly coming from directly behind the kicker. We'll see. Should help a little bit with distance if it doesn't hurt the line at all. See the flag behind her are all being blown towards the goalposts. The flags stay down. 5-0 the score. See how Alberta responds. It's been quite an arm wrestle so far. Very skillful offload from Ontario's number 16, Sarah Fielding, that started that off. Made a bit of a break and a bit of an offload, and the ball went to the wing to Riley Cattell and drew the high tackle. It was quick tapped, and then Alberta were never really able to get back in it, but a very skillful offload from 16. See here as the kick comes. Decent kick into Bryn Jenkins. Handles it well. See Alberta, quick hands there on the turnover. Had to be picture perfect there. The number 8 Charlie Helland, and she was probably only had one very small window to go for that. Keep playing through the left here. Not a lot of options, but we're just going to play through. See what we can get out of a recycle. More indiscipline at the breakdown. Ontario putting up a lot of resistance at the rucks, but committing a fair few penalties as they do. Kick for touch. Safely found touch. We'll have an Alberta line out to come. Ball folks have sent a new ball in. And we'll begin the search for that last one. Alberta to the front of the line out and win it. They're moving forward in the maul. It's taken to ground through no fault of Ontario. Emma Gallagher determines. Ball look to go backwards. Alberta will be allowed to play on. Running to the mark. So I had just missed the signal for advantage, I would say. That maul going down was the result of a penalty by Ontario. They're just playing the advantage and come back to it. Let's see if they go to set that up again. Yep, kick to the corner. We'll have the 5-meter line out. You'd have to think more of the same coming. Line out one in the middle. Ontario electing to push back. Alberta's moving the ball backwards through the maul and driving forwards. Look to have a good drive, and the try is scored. Hard to see from here. Perhaps the number 8 at the back of that maul. But in any event, a good team try. to the corner once, go to the maul, draw the penalty, back to the corner, back to the maul, and the driving try. It's good clinical rugby. Number 2, Grace Eagleton, our PA announcer tells us, was the one to dot that down. Challenging conversion from here. Wind not helpful. Throw it right back into our kicker's face. Gave it a good strike, but it was always going to be difficult to get through that wind. Five all as we near halftime here. Must be any minute now by my watch. Ontario set to kick off. Alberta warning each other about the wind. It's well taken by Alberta. Popped to, I believe they're tight head, Michaela Gibbon. It's a powerful run there. Wins them front foot ball. A good little run. Get in between the gap, some work on the ground, helps them recycle possession. A lot of individual running right now. People catching not a bevy of options. Let's see here if they can get the offload away. The ball's always backwards. Our winger Kylie Adamkowski, I believe, scooped that up and did well to stay in bounds. Ontario putting up a big fight at the counter ruck. Scrum half puts a shoulder in and gets the whole pile working. Looked like it was quickly taken away there by the number 8. Oh. The pass went forward out of the hands of 16. That takes us to halftime. More interviews at half. Stay right here as we go to half. We'll have some interviews from the beginning of this game from each side, and they'll be back shortly for the second half.
Score is 5-5.
And welcome back to Maritime Athletic Profiles, and I'm here with Nikki with the Ontario Blues. Yeah. And I'm wondering, Nikki, how is your preparation for this round robin different from other tournaments that you played in?
Well, for me it's different because it's like so much rugby in such a little amount of time. Mm-hmm. So with like in-season games with university, it's like, oh, it's once a week. Now it's like, okay, cool. It's so many games in such a little amount of time. There's a lot of like transition to be like, okay, cool, we have to fix this now. And it's a lot shorter turnaround than anything else that I've had so far.
Okay. How does your team stay motivated and focused throughout such a demanding schedule?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I want to say it's just like we all bring each other up. So it's like if one person's down, we all bring them up. It's just kind of like a constant, like, okay, everyone, let's get together and bring each other up. We all motivate each other. That's how. It's like we all want to get better. So it just gives us a bigger motivator to be like, okay, I want to get better, you want to get better, let's all get better together.
And what adjustments, I'm curious, has the coaching staff made based on your team's performance so far?
The adjustments that have been made, our scrumming wasn't the best of the first 2 games, so a big adjustment was last night. We just like sat there, went over scrumming, and we just made that massive adjustment. Be like, okay, we need to fix this, this, and this. So hopefully in this game, our scrumming will look better and be better.
Okay. And how do you approach each game when you know you've had multiple matches in just such a short period of time?
For me, how I do it is mentally I'm like, okay, cool. I might be playing 30 or 60 minutes, so we got to gauge that first of all. Once I get past the 30 mark, I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have 30 more minutes. Now I have 50 more minutes. For me, it's like work hard for 15, you get your water break. Work hard for 15, you get your water break. Work hard for 15, water. Another 15, you're done.
That's it's done. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm just curious, just out of my own curiosity, do you find the weather here in Nova Scotia affects your gameplay compared to anywhere else you're used to playing?
Well, in London, Ontario, it's where I'm from. It's hot, humid, just like this. It's not that much different. I want to say the weather's like almost the same.
Okay.
Here, it's like a tiny bit cooler, but it's hot.
It hasn't affected you that much,
No,
but
I
it is
don't
hot.
think- It is hot. It's hot. It's humid. It's gross.
Okay, perfect, Nikki. Thank you
Awesome.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a great game.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And we are back, ready to start the second half here in a 5-5 nail-biter of a game between two undefeated teams here at the Canadian Rugby Championship. Wind a little bit across the field, but still slightly favorable to Alberta for this second half. A low knuckling kickoff. It sits up on a nice bounce. And Alberta right back to where we were. Hard running. I've got a athletic therapist in my way, but looked like that pass went to ground. Kicked when it was on the ground. Gone into touch. See here how Alberta can secure possession. Yeah, Ontario not challenging in front of them. Alberta just able to take one step forward and be in front of Ontario and win possession. Again, a few athletic therapists and assistant coaches in the way, but a bit of a scramble there and carried into touch as the result. Still a fair bit of ground gained. Let's see, an Alberta player down receiving treatment here for a second. Player up. Shaking it off, giving whatever hurts a few punches, and she's ready to go. See if Alberta can cause a nuisance here. Ontario up in the middle. Messy ball, but one just the same. Ontario settling in here through Bryn Jenkins, and the offload made. Ball secure. See which way Ontario likes to go with it. Flow through the hands here. A nice little half step into that gap from the number 12, Genevieve O'Hara. Recycled possession. And good ball skills from the 16, Sarah Fielding. As the ball goes through the hands. Number 7 fighting away. Looks like she's almost found a crease to the corner, but just held the whole way. Was the number 7, Delone Beauchemin. And now it's just pick and goes, pick and goes. No try yet, says the referee. A few more pick and goes. Stood up, well defended here by Alberta, but many of them getting trapped on sort of the back side here. Ball to the 10. Offload, got away from the 12. Big numbers out here if this ball can get held, but the bounces just slowed down the Ontario play enough that they're able to get a turnover, and the kick comes through. Ontario back chasing. Held on by the fingertips, but Alberta gets them down. Bench feeling some energy about that goal line stand. Ontario trying to come right back down that short side, though. Another offload. Players look to catch their breath here as we reset for a phase. Jenkins goes for a carry. Bit of ground made. Ontario talking about what's here for their width. Pass went forward. Yeah, the mark of the defense in both these teams is the positions they get into, and the defense is able to put their foot in the ground and be resilient. Many other games that we've seen so far this tournament, we would have seen a few more tries scored. For this to be 5-5, it's been a fantastic display of defense and tackling and work rate. Solid in the scrum, bit of pressure but not really moving backwards. Through to the blind winger, hands to the centers. Offloads keeping the ball alive. As our fullback Zina Uma drives her legs. Some strong leg drive there. Just a bit of a lift in her body height there, let her get pushed back in the collision, but the leg drive was ferocious for every other bit of it. Ball out to the middle of the field a little bit here. Coach is asking for a kick. Let's see if they're just shaping to put a bit of challenge on the back three here. Trying to get it through the hands, the bobble. Forced her to get driven close to the touchline, but not out. Just a few bobbles. They're not able to get things going cleanly here. They're maintaining possession, but they're not quite as sharp as they'd want. Just every pass, just a little bit on the edge of being dropped or knocked on, and that one was. Trying to judge what that wind will do as you pass into it versus away from it, and as it's rising and falling. Settling in here, some advice from the coaches as Alberta decide how they'll defend this midfield scrum. Lots of options for Ontario. Wind is picking up our tent here. Almost worried it's going to blow away on us. It's a good scrum, but the ball is won back by Ontario. 8-9 up to their center. Woo! Woo! I don't know if I'm still live. Our tent did blow away as I'm connected to it. Still live. Fantastic. And Bryn Jenkins with a vicious stiff arm. I just had to duck under my table like a bomb shelter for a second. And that's enough to tell you the wind is picking up. If Alberta can recover possession here, a kick may go over into the next county. Ontario going through the phases. Defense has been ferocious from both sides, as we say. Players getting driven back into the piles. Ball squirts out the back of that ruck. Just an incredible amount of ball in play. Hard line from the 7, looking to get over the line. And she does. Delone Beauchemin dipping and turning. Able to get free at the last second. That will be 10-5 with a kick to come, and as we can see here, no kick taken for granted here. Lining up for the conversion here. The flags stay down, as I say, an easy angle but a challenging wind to kick back into. Score is 10-5 Ontario. And we're back. Apologies if you lost us there for a second. Wind playing some havoc on our technical equipment here. .10-5's the score here to Ontario. Alberta just won a penalty. Elected to kick to the corner, using a bit of the wind at their back. And they've won the line out. And they're setting the maul again. A good numbers advantage. Ontario sort of unclear if they were going to engage with that or not. Ball's available at the back, so it's taken out. Ball through the hands here. It's creative to hold on to that for an extra half second. Knocked on by Ontario is the call. Back to Alberta bought the scrum. Few substitutions to be made there. Number 20, Kaylee Brooks coming in. Number 19, Tess Kristoff appears to be coming off. Bit of resetting had to happen in the scrum, but referee's happy to have it happen. We've got advantage there. Player not keeping their bind. Ivy with the leg drive again. Saw the defender jumping on the pass and decided to keep it and get a bit of leg drive. Counter ruck from Ontario. Started to have some momentum, but looks like Alberta is going to get that back out. A little kick through attempted. We'll go back to the infringement at the scrum, says Emma Gallagher. Ontario making sure they're back behind the mark from the assistant referee. A very shallow angle on this kick, but we'll see. So number 10, Riley Reed, still goes for touch. And she does, and just misses. It looks like that's gone all the way through. Back to the 22. See here as Alberta fans out to fill up the full field. Ontario would be able to just kick this an inch. Would just be able to kick this an inch if they wanted. See if anybody recognizes that. No, the kick short, and it was recovered by Beauchemin. It's an athletic play to recover that. Hard to see exactly what's going on from where we're sitting, but Ontario recycling possession. A kick into the wind, but got time off here for the injured player. Players gonna come off. It's Michaela Gibbon, the props coming off. Number 17, Namroz Gill coming on, if the jersey number is to be believed. Show the kick for touch, but they don't go for it. Sarah Fielding with the carry. Oh! Not on the ball was the call from Emma Gallagher. Strong run there from the Ontario winger. Alberta defense starting to show some cracks. They're still scrambling well. They're working hard, but they are starting to make some line breaks. Ontario starting to rumble a little bit here. Good service from the scrum half. But a penalty won by Alberta. Not releasing. It's wind at the back if they can make the most of this kick for touch. Not a huge gain. They had done well at the line out so far. Let's see if they can turn this into possession, and another good start here. And that's our second half water break. 10-5 to Ontario, the last 15 minutes to come. teams coming in for their last bit of chat in the last 15 minutes. Just a quick few minutes break here for water and their last bit of coaching. It's been an arm wrestle all day. Ontario looking like they're starting to get the better of the exchanges. A few more line breaks. But Alberta does always seem to come up with a penalty when they need it, or a big tackle when they need it. And McGallagher blows the whistle to signify the water and coaches should be getting off the field here. Producer and I skeptically looking at the tent as it blows around. See the trees in the background showing you the level of wind we're dealing with here. Displaying some of the maybe strange ways you've seen kicks dealt with or lineouts go. It's gone short, trying to pop to the scrum half, but ball's knocked on. Ball's out at the back. Solid push from both teams, but nobody going anywhere. Ontario 11, Soli Jung, sorry. With that carry, Robin Baker takes next. Now the forwards will begin to recycle. Took a carry, but ball knocked on in the next phase, and Alberta able to dive on the loose ball. Just anything they can do to get to a kick here, and they'd be happy. The wind would play heavily to their favor. Just a big fight at the counter ruck from Ontario, but looks like the ball won cleanly. Alberta trying to find an edge here, but Ontario covering well. Tackled just before the touchline again. A wave of coaches in my way there, but I can tell it didn't go into touch. Strong over the ball is that Ontario number 10, Cameron Wood. A few turnovers for her, very hard to get rid of. Bryn Jenkins goes for another carry. Just a mountain of carries for Bryn Jenkins today. Ball sneaks away out the back. Alberta coaches imploring their team to make a big tackle and get them the ball back. wind is even wreaking havoc, I think, on these longer passes. They get a few short ones to go to hand, and when they try to get that last one, it always ends up behind. Settling in here. Ontario going to recycle. When the ball squirts out of that, and then Gallagher bringing us back to a mark. We're playing penalty advantage. I might buy another set of the good ones. Ontario pounding away. But Alberta's excited, so held up must be the call as Ontario backs away. Goal line dropout here. See what the wind will do to this dropout. If she can get it up in the air, I wouldn't want to try and catch it. Knocked on is the call. Just impossible to tell where that ball is going to go once it's been kicked. Wave of substitutions coming in here. 22, 26, and 25 for Ontario. Jenna Rutherford, Haley Galbraith, and Hayden Benedam, if my roster's accurate. Cameron Wood, the 10, coming out after some fantastic defense. Scrum coming together here. And a reset, says Emma Gallagher. Pick to the open side, but Olivia Dibua wins the turnover. Tap and go through the hands. Ontario, number 23, so we've gotten in to score the try. Amber Edgerton. 15-5 as the feel Ontario starting to get a bit stronger of a hold on this game. Inside of 10 minutes here by my watch. 6 minutes gone in this last segment of play. T took a second to get out, but we'll see if the kicker can be efficient here. And the wind, very unhelpful for these kicks right back in the face. They have to be very makeable, I think, to be making them in this direction. Well struck, just snuck over the bar. Robin Baker with the convert brings Ontario's total to 17. It's 17-5 the score right now. Of course, as we say, in a competition like this, everything plus minus bonus points, they all count. Alberta will be trying desperately to get back inside 7 points. Number 20, Sydney McDonald. She's just subbed on for number 12, Jada Morrison. Kicked out with by Ontario. Settling in here. Little show and go. And the offload was ambitious, but it goes to hand. Alberta tracking across the field here. So Ontario 13 tackle, did a touch, just put a foot in touch. Did Mackenzie White. Alberta thinking about the quick line out, told no by her coaches. Let the kids play, I say. Line out set here. Alberta's had some good success in their line out. Ontario does look like they've recommitted to defending the front. They don't get up quick enough. Well held, an athletic play by the number 8, Charlie Helen, to hang on to that. Had to have a re-grip while the ball was in the air. Ontario reading the play well, making their double tackles and creating slow ball. See where Alberta tries to go here to unlock things. Kira Smed, the big second row. Well held there. Maintain possession. Player did well there to work a little bit on the ground and make a placement. I thought for everything she would have been turned over there. The offload goes to ground, but an Alberta player backtracks to pick it up. Runs it right back into the middle of the field. Box kick, and the wind is going to carry it, but it was kicked straight out. And McGallagher coming over to check on the injured player, see if they'll need to be substituted or if they'll be able to get back up and continue. Sarah Fielding, the 16, is the player down. Looks like they've signaled Taylor Harrigan to come back in as a front row player. Sarah looks to be okay, getting up under her own power, holding her neck perhaps. Ontario to the line out, throw not straight in the wind picks up, it does make those lineouts quite difficult. Alberta running out of time to perhaps steal a win here, but as I say, the bonus point, the plus minus, all still certainly come into play in a competition like this. So try it to death would almost feel like a win if it gets you a bonus point. Ivy Poker bottled up as she was looking for an offload. Gets to ground, but releases the ball and gets up and plays it herself, and then gets the offload away. Playing very near the touchline, but not driven out. Big tackle from Bryn Jenkins. Accurate for a tall player. Alberta looking to shift the point here with a little forward tip-to-tip pass. Scrum half had to work hard to pick that up there. Ended up getting hit hard as she did, but Alberta maintained possession. Now they're looking to build a little bit. Looks to be the number 7 winning that turnover. Alberta looking to make a pile of substitutions here as the time winds down, see if they can get them in. Ontario attacking wide now off that penalty. Recycling away. Happy to throw the ball around in these conditions even with the big wind, but that one you could see taken right out of change direction in midair. But backwards and Ontario recovers. Back to applying pressure. The whole crew of Alberta substitutes are blocking my way right now, but that's it. Looks like we're coming back to a penalty. Tap and go. And a kick into touch to signify the end of the game. A hard-fought game with Ontario getting a bit of separation at the end there. 17-5 the final. The bonus point eludes Alberta, and Ontario's perfect record remains intact. A fantastic game for both sides, and hopefully they both take a lot of pride in their work there in the contact area and in defense. A lot of goal line stands from both teams, and yeah, see the emotion of the players there. Incredible amount of work went into that game. Stay tuned right here on the YouTube page. We'll be back live in a minute with our player of the game interviews and our next kickoff between BC and the Atlantic Rock to be at 4 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
And that's part of why, yeah, I know a lot of this process well enough. Yeah, I know a lot of this process well enough that even if I had a team with 100% certainty,
Welcome back, everyone. That was an action-filled game between the Ontario Blues and the Alberta Wolfpack, and it ended with a 17-5. I'm here with the MVP for the Ontario Blues. Could you tell us your name?
My name is Delone Boscheman.
Nice to meet you. And how did you feel today's game went?
I feel like today's game was honestly a tough one. We went into this match knowing that Alberta was a strong team, and knowing that we were going to have to do a lot of work both mentally and physically in order to win. But I think that we did our job and we understood the assignment and we forced them noise complaints on the field.
So you were the MVP of the game, so obviously you must have done something amazing. What do you think you did that really set you apart from your colleagues?
I think, again, both physically on the field, like I was able to be present and uplift my teammates, and both mentally I was there for them. And just being that impact player for the entire match that everyone could rely on is something really important that I take like great responsibility in. So
Definitely. So what's next for the team after this?
next up we have BC.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting match. We're really looking forward to it. And yeah.
Do you have someone you want to shout out to back home?
Yeah, I'd like to say hey to my family, and especially a huge shout out to my coaches at the Guelph Griffins and everyone who helped me get here. I couldn't honestly have done it without them. So
Thank you so much and congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
win. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with the MVP for the Alberta Wolfpacks. Could you tell me your name?
Grace Eagleton.
Nice to meet you, Grace. How do you think today's game went?
I think it was a tough loss for us. You know,
Yeah.
we worked really hard. We knew that this was the team to beat. We knew what it was going to be like coming in. I think we just tried our hardest, but
Yeah.
we just didn't come with the outcome we wanted to. So
Yeah. How do you think the team can improve for like future games?
I think it was just trying to get out of our heads, you know, like it's just we need to work as a team. We know from now on what our strengths are and what our strengths aren't. So I think just improving on our.
Definitely. Do you have someone you want to shout out to back home?
Shout out to my family back at home, all the coaches who supported me, Dinos especially, and yeah.
Shout out to the family and thank you for a wonderful game. We all enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.